Okay, this is part of Rory London's final evaluation, answering questions 6 and 7. What have you learned about technologies from the process of constructing this product?
Well, I've learned to use two different types of technology, which is Publisher and Photoshop. I used Publisher for both my contents page and my double page spread, as it was easier because I had quite a lot of text on both of them, and Photoshop to Photoshop on my front cover as I was manipulating images and so on. Started my double page spread. The two photos I've used, I felt that the photo on the left of the actual band, which is Arctic Monkeys, I felt that if I take a photo with me in the crowd, it will almost make the article and double page spread more intimate and personal, as if I was just to take it from as like a normal photographer, for example. So that's why it may come across blurred, but I just felt that if I took it as part of the audience, it would make the people reading the magazine more into the articles. So in that, I also used the picture in Publisher. I added some text onto the picture using the same house style as well. With my second picture on my double page spread, I took one basically so that it would be in line with all the columns, which I also did. I aligned the columns in Publisher so they're nice and straight, and basically making it look like a normal magazine would do. I used a picture just of the stage so that the audience could see what the stage was like, how big it was, and basically just gain an image of the overall event that it was. Onto my contents page now. As I said, I use this in Publisher to create the contents page. Basically, I created a replica of the Reading Festival logo, which I did in Photoshop because obviously it required a lot more constructing and just using basically Photoshop's techniques. I just created like a spike effect around the edge. I compared both text and fonts of the Reading replica and tried to find the most similar font on Photoshop, and obviously it's just there. I also used a photo in Photoshop, and I from research I made into NME, they create a photo with almost like it looked like a square was almost going into it, and it's got a little quote from an interview that one of the contents in my magazine, and onto my front cover. Basically in Photoshop I just photoshopped the photo just slightly. I used the paintbrush tool just to go around the edges because it was a bit untidy, and then I basically used Photoshop in the whole creation of my front cover. It was just easier, and it was more about manipulating the text, so it was in line, creating stuff which is bigger, smaller, and so forth.
Okay. Looking back at your preliminary task, which was a school magazine, what do you feel that you have learned in the progression from it to your full product?
I feel that I've done quite a lot of research and planning into the music industry, and not being the most creative person in the whole wide world, I think that I've done quite a good job on all three products of the music magazine. I mean, I tried to create them so they'd be like you read them in a magazine, like an interview with Arctic Monkeys or a review of Arctic Monkeys wouldn't include 20 pictures in there, would it? It would include more text. And I feel with my school magazine I didn't put a massive amount of effort into it, and basically I just tried to sort of concentrate more on what I do with my music magazine, and in the school magazine I learned basically just the basics about both Photoshop and Publisher, so that I can almost expand on it when I did my music magazine. But yeah, I was quite pleased with my final products. Maybe they're not as creative as some other people, but I tried to create something which you'd probably find in a normal music magazine.
Okay.
That's the conclusion of my evaluation questions 6 and 7.